We're recording.
I leave the meeting. I'm like, oh no. I gotta get out of here.
I didn't know this was going to be documented.
I'm pro Dave Portnoy. I can't have that on this.
Now it's on there.
Clearly a joke, but I do like pizza.
Sarah, are we going for it?
Sarah, this is the first time I'm seeing you not on Instagram Live.
Since
What a week!
It's been a great week. I have my Brave sweater on.
Oh, that's cute.
That has a stain on it, probably from who knows what. Yeah, it's been a pretty crazy. I think I'm still like in shock. It doesn't even feel real. So maybe tomorrow during the parade, it'll feel a little bit more real. Yeah.
What are you going to do for the parade? Are you like blocking out part of the day? Do you have drinks? Do you have snacks? What's the situation?
I'm just going to watch it and probably with a box of tissues, I'm going to be so excited. It's just a real celebration. And I'm just excited to see all the guys in the clubhouse, who got a ring, who were like not on the field that day, like Vogt, who was like our catcher, interim catcher when Darno was hurt. And, like Acuna will be there, I'm sure, even though he didn't get to play. It's just great.
Did Cage know what was going on?
Or was he scared?
Tell him he had no idea what was going on. Well, he knows that we're always running around and screaming. He knows a home run. It's like anytime the Braves hit a home run, me and Chris like run around the house and then like Cage, it takes him, he watches us a couple times and then he joins in and he, and then sometimes in the backyard when he's playing golf, like he'll hit a swing and we'll go, yay. And then he'll drop the club and just run around going like, so he knew that we were like really excited, but he was just more like, what's going on? You guys are weird. So it's pretty cool. And I've already bought a bunch of World Series merchandise. I haven't bought any for him yet. So I want him to be able to wear it forever.
He will. You should get him. You should get him a little baby tattoo.
Dude,
just
if I
stretches
could,
out
I would
as he grows.
absolutely do it.
And
Megan, have you ever had one of your teams win anything that would
the Indianapolis Colts? The Indianapolis Colts.
Did you? What was
I did not. I don't even think there was a parade. I don't remember there being. There must have been, and I could have gone because I went to school like an hour away. But I just was like that. I unfortunately don't quite remember when they officially won. Like it was clear that they were gonna win, and then I was like, but I did end up getting thrown out of the bar where we were watching, and I was 20, and my brother had to bribe the bouncer to let me back in because he didn't want to leave yet, and so they let me back in.
Why were you thrown out? What was the situation?
I went behind the bar and, I was so excited. I was like, running around. Yeah. And so then they were like, you have to sit in this chair. And so I just had to sit there in a chair while all these people, and I would like get up and the bouncer would like push me back down on my head. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's a beautiful experience, I think.
Thank you.
I definitely don't remember posting the photos that I posted or taking any of the photos. And I woke up the next morning, like I had no idea how I got into bed. And Chris was like, yep, that makes sense. Yeah. I had to get you undressed and like put you to bed. Like I just totally blacked out.
I love
it. It was
that.
just like all this
Can I ask you
guys
a question? So Toronto Raptors, who are my team, ended up making it to the finals. It was game 6. And one of my girlfriends calls me and she goes, 2 older gentlemen have 2 extra tickets. And
older gentlemen.
If we fly to San Francisco, we can take these tickets, but we just have to hang out with them for the evening. And I was just like, okay.
What does hang out mean? No way.
They were very lovely. They were so nice. They were older gentlemen, and I asked are they creepy? Are they weird? And she goes, no, they just want to hang out with us.
Yeah, I would have gone. I would have gone.
I went and I had a blast, and they were fine. They like bought us drinks, they bought us dinner, and like we just hung out with them, and they had families, and I think that they just wanted to hang out with like 2 sports gals. But now I look back on it and I'm like, maybe that was a little dicey, but I had a blast.
No, I think it's great. When the Super Bowl was in Indianapolis the night before I got propositioned in a way that was not going to be as innocent by he was a retired baseball player, and that's not my type. And so he was like, do you want to go to the Super Bowl with me tomorrow? And I was like, shoot, I'm going with my mom. And so it was like, in that moment, I go, this is why my dad is sending me, because he knows I would have found a way, and it may have not been the best way.
Your dad is a very smart man, and you're resourceful. So good for you.
I truly was just up buying drinks for my brother and his friend, and this guy, and the bartender was like, he wants to pay for all these, and he says he has a question for you. I was like, okay. And I was 21. 21.
Sarah, have you ever had a professional athlete hit on you? I mean, of course, the answer.
Have you ever been a sugar baby?
No. The only thing that ever, like when I was waiting tables at the Four Seasons, this guy had a briefcase handcuffed to his hand one time, and like one of those metal ones. And every time you walk by him, he would give you $50. And I kept bringing him drinks, because he like told me that his wife had cheated on him and was going to try to take all of his money in the divorce. So he took it all out of the bank, and he was leaving for Paris. And if I wanted to come with him, I just had to meet him at his door at 8 a.m. and we could go, and like, he would change my life. And I was like,
was all his money in the suitcase?
I was like,
I'm picturing Howie Mandel in Deal or No Deal suitcase.
Yes.
Wandering around the bar.
And so
what?
Yeah.
So he had $1 million. He had $1 million in there, maybe.
At least, I mean, I have no idea, but it was a real sliding doors moment for me. Where you're like,
did you consider it?
Life be like?
Did you consider it? Was he hot?
He was hot enough. But I was just like, no, I just just in case, I don't want to be tonight's top story, and I don't want to get in the middle of whatever this divorce is. And
and
country.
Why are you leaving the country?
Classy lady. Yeah.
At least he was saying. God. At least he was saying a destination that does have extradition to the U.S. Like I've only learned that from Succession. Like if he was trying to go some random place, it's like, dog, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not going to Serbia with you.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I've already been to Paris, so maybe not.
Yeah.
I was just young and dumb. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway,
that's spicy.
Well, congrats again on finding love, not with that man and the Braves.
That means a lot coming from you. I know you're a Dodger fan, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, but that's okay. I'll save what I had to say about the Astros for later.
Okay.
Should we start getting into the nitty-gritty?
Yeah, let's talk about it. So, obviously our favorite eligible bachelor in the NFL, Aaron Rodgers, has COVID and can't play on Sunday. Thoughts?
I had heard. I'm like Jimmy G. I had heard that he was not vaccinated, and I was like, I just think we would know as a fan of a team with a quarterback who's not vaccinated, who I guess not smart enough to say I'm immunized. And so I was like, he could be lying for sure, which it seems like he was making a little housewives move. He was definitely like omitting things, but it's really, I really like Aaron Rodgers too. And my sister-in-law is a huge Packers fan. And this was really disappointing on a lot of levels and I think some of it is the deceit of it. He thought he was pulling one over on us. You also live in a cold weather place. This was bound to happen. Like, you're not above COVID. And I was just, it makes me be like, man, I just thought you were a really smart guy. And now I don't know if you are who I thought you were.
It just feels like, I mean, I'm not a Packers fan. I am an Aaron Rodgers fan. Like, I personally feel like low-key betrayed. Like, I don't know why. And I was like, I think all of us were on our phones. When did it come out? Tuesday morning. And we were like, okay, what's the difference between vaccinated and immunized? And it just felt like really cheeky. All these guys, I do not want to give props to like a Cole Beasley at all. but at least they are standing firm in what they believe in, knowing that they are absolutely going to get shitted on. And I feel like there are the Cole Beasleys who make like a really big stink about it and like, you know, continue to push this like anti-vax narrative and misinformation all over the place. And then there's guys that, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Lamar Jackson isn't vaccinated and he's not going out and spreading all this misinformation. It's just personal choice. Leave me be. Bye-bye. And
got my mask on.
Aaron Rodgers didn't do either of those things. And I think that we're going to find out more information about, you know, COVID compliance. Was he wearing his masks during the times that he was supposed to be wearing the masks? Or was he just kind of like taking the easy way out because he's Aaron Rodgers and he's the captain and he's the leader of the team and he already caused, that's another whole other section of this thing, is the shit and the drama that he caused this team this summer. And all of us, I was just like, yeah, Aaron Rodgers, like you stand up for yourself and what you believe in, and then like it just goes to show that we don't know anything that's going on and we have no idea who people actually are, especially famous people who play football. So
it's just, to me, it felt a lot like being in a relationship with someone who just like doesn't tell you that they were cheating on you. Yeah. And that, you know, they just said, well, you just heard that wrong. You know, like that it just feels incredibly selfish. It feels incredibly vain because he obviously didn't want blowback. He didn't want to have to answer questions about it. He didn't want to be a face of it or a voice of it. So he was like deceitful in a planned, manipulative way. And it feels so trashy and dirty. And I've always liked him because I think he's really funny. I think he has a good sense of humor. And like clearly though, he is incredibly self-centered and very worried about image, you know, which I think a lot of us are, but like to willingly mislead people on purpose, with like lawyer speak, so to say, you know, and put other teammates in danger. And other players, if you're playing other teams who have high risk people, like you're willingly going out there and not wearing a mask on the sidelines on purpose. And I honestly think he doesn't want to wear a mask because he doesn't want to hide his face. I swear to God.
Oh, it is. I mean, it is a good face. My 9-year-old niece told me a few weeks ago, and she lives in Wisconsin. She goes, something's off about his vibe. And she was right. She was right. And I was vouching for him. But yeah, the thing is, it's like, it's also very scary. Like, if you are unvaccinated, you have a much higher risk of being really ill. And I'm assuming the Packers knew. They must have, and his teammates knew. But yeah, Sarah, it's like, think about all the players that he's come in contact with that are not privy to that information, and all the people in his community that it's like, when you see Cole Beasley, you're like, okay. Like when I see Carson Wentz, I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, I would have walked up and given Aaron Rodgers a damn smooch. You can't be walking around that handsome unvaccinated.
There is like this feeling, you know, we're all vaccinated and every single person that comes and goes in the NFL Network building is vaccinated. And there's a really like calming sense to that. Like, yes, sure, there's going to be breakthrough cases, but like I go into work feeling so much more comfortable knowing that person's vaccinated, that person's vaccinated, that person over there is vaccinated. Like I am most likely going to be fine around these people. And just the, you know, who knows? And I'm hoping that this information comes out, but like, who knows what his teammates knew? Who knows what the other guys on the opposite side of the field, just like what you were saying, Megan, who knows what they knew? But to me, if I had just played Aaron Rodgers and like was a defensive player and like maybe took him down, like I'd be pissed. Yeah. Like maybe I would have not.
I mean, does it say anything too that like, because Devontae Adams had it a week before him, right? Jordan Love doesn't have it. So it's like, who is Rodgers closer to on the team? You know what I mean? Like, who's he?
Jordan Love may have been like, stay away from me too, you know, because like, and the team may have done that on purpose to be like, he may get sick. You cannot be in the same, it may have just been a QB room where he was off doing whatever he was doing.
Yeah, listen, I don't really care about people's choice to not get vaccinated. Once my son can get vaccinated, I don't give a shit who dies from it because they weren't vaccinated. Whatever. But right now, like my son can't get the vaccine. He's vulnerable. So fuck off. Like
the holistic stuff drives me a little nuts too.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you guys feel about this, but it's like, Aaron, you are a smart human. You have a very popular book club. You read. I just don't understand where the disconnect is. Like, you'll listen to one doctor and not the other. Like, that just makes no sense to me. And it's very frustrating.
He's dating a hippie. That's what it comes down to that. I mean, like, who was it? Was it you? I don't want to tell you have to say this, but like one of you, I heard that Shailene was like eating clay or something.
I said that. That was like an article in friggin' Vogue. She was just like, I eat clay. One of my taxi drivers told me about it, and that's all I do. I just eat clay.
A taxi driver?
Girl, go to Press Juicery and get you a charcoal water. Like, that is the same thing.
No, I mean, that
part of me that is a little curious about the clay. Like,
that was my frustration with Wentz. It's like he was coming out and saying he was unvaccinated. At the same time, a doctor was removing a bone from his foot. And it's like, that's way more experimental than just getting this, like, truly regular ass thing that we're all getting.
Listen, I know a lot of people who are not vaccinated because of holistic reasons, you know, like they just don't want to they don't put anything into their bodies that is not, although I think Tom Brady getting the vaccine shows you how safe it is because he doesn't eat tomatoes, but you'll get that. The people that I know who are really into holistic medicine are extremely careful around everyone else. Like, they're like, I don't personally want it, but I'm wearing my mask. I'm not bringing people over to my house. I'm not like, they're taking precautions that is unselfish, you know, for others, which is fine with me. If you're, as long as you're being safe around other people, you can do what you want. But Aaron Rodgers works for a corporation.
Yeah, and that contact sport.
Yes, has close contact probabilities. Sorry, Rachel, what were you going to say? Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, like, I feel like one of the main complaints about people who are not vaccinated is just like, I just like want to like wait and see. Like, I just want to wait and see. We've waited and we've seen. Like, we're fine.
Yeah.
Just get it.
Dude, I just got my booster.
Me too. I got boosted up.
I'm about to get mine.
I got boosted up. I felt totally fine.
Any reaction, Sarah?
I was a little tired.
I was in a lot of
Oh, you were?
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. I was in tons of pain. I had a really bad headache for a day and a half. But, and my skin, every inch of my skin hurt. But I also got Moderna, and I originally got J&J.
I'm also pregnant, so I'm sort of in discomfort, and so it didn't feel out of the ordinary from regular exhaustion or pain. But I did lay out earlier in the day, like, maybe we can get freaky tonight, and then blamed it on the booster that I didn't want to. So I'm like, I was fine. CJ's gonna watch this and be like, the hell? Okay. Switching gears to what's probably the most tragic story of the NFL season thus far is the crash that Henry Ruggs caused absolutely by driving at a blood alcohol level of 0.161, which is twice the legal limit. At some point right before the crash, he was driving 156 miles per hour in Vegas, as he is a wide receiver for the Raiders. I almost said Oakland. And killed a 23-year-old woman and her dog, who were sitting stationary, who he slammed into. And it really always is the people, like, it's a shock that he was able to walk away from it, which is what happens when you're drunk, because your body takes over and does, but if you're not, your body does not do that. And so he essentially walks away from the crime. We've seen the mug shot where he is banged up and has a neck brace on. The Raiders have obviously dropped him. He is being held, and his career is over. This woman's life is over. Her dog was killed. Ruggs has a daughter, and
he has a daughter.
And I'm going to double check that, but I believe and her life is ruined because of this. Not forever, but her father will be taken away. This affects so many people outside of just him, and it's another thing that the Raiders organization is having to now answer for after the departure of John Gruden, and it's just my mother-in-law lives in Vegas, and I am always like, I do fear for her because it is just a party town where I think a lot of wild things happen. This is a 22-year-old guy who's making millions of dollars a year and being sent to Sin City, and it does make me worry as just a fan of the NFL. What is it that we have these young, rich men in this place that is notorious? Not that this couldn't happen in Buffalo or Indianapolis, but if I was a mother and my son got drafted, I would not want him to be going to Las Vegas as his first stop in a professional pursuit. And it's just so devastating and so senseless because we know how much money this man makes. Anybody can get an Uber. Anybody can call anybody. He could have called Derek Carr. Yeah.
The Raiders have a team vehicle. Like, they'll always pick you up.
Yeah. I mean, so it obviously gets more attention because he's an NFL player. These things happen dozens of times a day, and people are always victims of it. I have a very close personal person I love who is related to someone who killed two people, and it's ruined everyone's lives, not just the two people who died and their family, but everyone surrounding it. And it seems to be a problem in our society that happens so often, and we have all of these instances. And the thing is, it's one mistake that's so brutal, but it's like, I know that I have driven when I should not have. I think it's something that we all think, oh, it's not going to be me, I'll be okay. This is obviously beyond reckless, the speed and the blood alcohol level. But I mean, just what are your guys' top line thoughts on what is just clearly terrible?
I've just like really been sick to my stomach about it all week.
Yeah.
Like every single time I see it's just, it's I think it's also, I mean, you want to hate this kid. You want to hate Henry Ruggs, but then you also realize he's 22. I don't want to like make any excuses for him at all. He's 22. He's so loaded. He lives in Las Vegas. It's just so shitty. Every single angle that you look at it, that poor woman. I drive with my dogs all the time. I can't imagine somebody hitting us, or so many times people drive in their cars, like dogs don't often get buckled up, and so even just like it just gave me so many nightmares in so many different facets. And I feel for that Raiders locker room as well. Like, those guys have been through hell and back the past few months.
Yeah.
And, you saw it on Derek Carr's face when he was talking about John Gruden. You saw it on Derek's face when he was talking about Ruggs. Like, it's just, I don't even think that there's like anything to say about it that would sound smart or tied up. Like, I just feel so terrible for her family, for her. She was 23, you guys. Like, it's just awful.
And he's 22, she's 23. Yeah. Everybody is affected off of, a split second, like a decision that, you could have been talked out of, and I think when you're 22 years old and, fresh into the NFL in Vegas, getting tons of attention, you feel indestructible. And, and these guys have no practice with real fear yet. When I was 22, I definitely didn't think I was going to get hurt or killed or kill anybody else or go to prison. Like, you don't think about consequences the way you do now, because when you're older, you know people who've died, you've seen the tragedy, you've seen it unfold. When you're 22, I can remember hearing stories about that and being like, that sucks, but it didn't even resonate. Like, your brain can't even process, like, I don't think truly, like, how detrimental any of this can be. And now his life is over, her life is over, and so many lives are ruined. And, I don't want to bring this back to the NCAA, but I don't think the NCAA does a very good job in college of preparing athletes to go into a mature business world. That's why I think being able to pay athletes now is so imperative, because they need to practice with responsibility. They need to have practice money in college, because all these people are going to be coming after them, talking to them, being like, let's go hang out. You buy. You need practice, and you need coaches in college that go, you better stop that fucking shit right now. Because maybe you didn't grow up in an environment, you know, you've been the most famous person on your team your entire life, from probably 12 years old, you know? So like, these guys have gotten attention after attention. They feel indestructible. They feel powerful. They feel cool. They feel amazing. And all of that can be taken away in a second. And it does not resonate with you if you do not get practice and like enough time in college to really let certain things and certain factors set in.
Yeah.
College
needs to be like, Derek Carr talked about, like, I wish I could have done something. I wish I could have stopped. Apparently Henry Ruggs like sent him a video from Top Golf that night in the middle of the night. And I wonder, there needs to be, and maybe this is already in place and I'm just not privy to it, but there maybe needs to be like some kind of big brother system where these guys, like, there's just so many issues with alcoholism, domestic violence. Like, there are just so many issues within the NFL, and like, somebody like Derek Carr, like, choose the Derek Carr of your team and maybe match them up with younger kids when they're, because that's what they are. They're kids, and they're trying to navigate this insane, like, pedestal situation. Like, football in America is just it's the craziest thing in the entire world. There's nothing like that. And you're asked to navigate it in a second. And it's just asking so much of these 22, 21-year-old boys. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. And the sad thing is, it's like Derek Carr would have gone to get him, you know, like, he just needed to ask. And if you don't ask, then this is what happens. Derek Carr has been catching some flack for the statement he made. I think you got to put yourself in his shoes and go, this is someone he knew as a person. So we're looking at it going, how could this monster do this? This is someone he worked with every single day, that he's devastated. He's also a true, like, man of God. And I think this shit, like, shakes people like that to their core, because they have to continue to see the good in people. My husband had just worked with Henry Ruggs on something, and you know, they surprised a fan. He was helping a Nevada food bank during COVID. From all intents and purposes, this seems like this was a horrific, isolated event. But I don't think it's easy for Derek Carr to go out and go, fuck this guy. Of course he's pissed. He's devastated. He doesn't want to have to be dealing with this. He's lost a teammate. He's lost a coach. I'm sure he's going to do everything he can to help this woman's family. And I'm sure the Raiders, I think Mark Davis is a good guy, and they're going to try and do right by this woman. But it's not easy to go out and fully trash someone when we don't know if he is on the verge of suicide right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And
for sure,
I think, you know, like, I honestly believe that if any of us could have been in that situation when we were young, you know, there's like I've done a lot of really stupid things that I'm sure I could have gone to prison for, you know, like, definitely I wasn't driving 156 miles an hour in a Corvette. I'm glad there were no pedestrian, you know, like, I'm just like, there's, you know, the severest punishment is going to come down, and rightfully so. But like, these are all human beings, and none of us are without sin, as Derek Carr talks about. And so you just have to try to, you know, like, give love to the situation, because it's just tragic and terrible, and everybody's lives are ruined.
Everyone lost.
Everyone lost.
There's because even when someone murders, it's like they were so fucking mad at that person. At least they murdered that person. You know, it's like they're still losing, but it's like, you know, this guy would give all of his money back, everything in his life to not be in this situation.
I think that what Derek Carr has shown us, and you guys tell me if you disagree, I think that what Derek Carr has shown us over the last month, I'm like really impressed with him and his
I'm
leadership.
getting like emotional thinking about it. Yeah. because
like the things, I obviously, all of us disagree with every single ounce of words that came out of John Gruden's friggin' fingers, and it was disgusting and just so vile. And the fact that Derek Carr can be like, he is still a human being that I have a relationship that I love. And then on top of that, Henry Ruggs, to do that with him, like, is just, he really just showed a lot of like, I mean, maturity and leadership. I think that not a lot of humans in this age where we're so close to tweet, fuck this guy and what a piece of shit and like, screw you, so quick to write people off and just judge from, wherever we're sitting. And just like you said, Sarah, like everybody, has their sins. And I just thought that it was a really, I don't know if beautiful is the right word, but I just thought it was really big of Derek Carr to say what he's been saying over the last month. And I think that, kudos to him.
I hope he's pro-choice. I hope he's pro-choice. Don't ask him, but I just hope he is, like, I'm like, I know I don't agree with him on everything, but I hope he would be diplomatic about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Lord punishes the Raiders in a variety of ways that you don't have to worry about, but like, I feel like no one is going to punish Henry more than he's going to punish himself. If any of us were in that situation, like, it doesn't matter. You're in prison forever, even if you're not behind bars.
Right. I did confirm he has a 1.5-year-old little girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
well, I think we're all thinking about the woman who passed away and her family and Ruggs' family. It's just like so awful across the board. It's been a really rough week thinking about all of these people. Not to segue, but let's talk about another shitty story. Dave Portnoy, head of Barstool, CEO, owner, whatever. A Business Insider article just dropped today on Thursday about the many claims that many young, capital YOUNG, all caps, young women have been making against 43-year-old Dave Portnoy. Claims of consensual but very, very rough sexual experiences with him, choking. There was one young woman whom I believe was 19, a year past the legal age. And she said that she had consensual sex, but then a couple days later ended up in the hospital because she was suicidal, because she felt so terrible about what had happened between her and Dave Portnoy. I just want to like kick things off really quickly. I think that what is so terrible about this culture that Barstool has created is that they've created a silence culture. Nobody feels like they can speak up about Barstool. Nobody feels like they can speak up about Dave Portnoy. So kudos to the women that have come forward and shared their stories. I remember a couple of years ago when I was just starting in TV at Fox Sports, I tweeted out like, whenever Barstool gets canceled, I'm having everybody over for margaritas. And like the vitriol and the hate that I received over the next 48 hours, my brothers were calling me. My brothers aren't even on Twitter and they somehow heard about it because I was just getting torn to shreds and it sucked. I had just gotten this brand new job. I tweeted something like whatever offhand. He ended up starting to tweet about me. I was just like, oh, I'm deleting my Twitter. It was so awful. And it's just created the situation that like, even I'll admit, like I saw that article today and as much as I want to retweet it and spread that story, I don't want to deal with the bullshit that I'm going to get because of that. And I know that that's really shitty and I should probably walk that back and retweet that right now because that's how people like Barstool and Dave Portnoy get away with this shit. Yeah. But I'm just being honest because that is the culture that they have created. What do you guys think?
I did retweet it, but I have way less followers than you. And I also retweeted it being like, how could we have known? Like, it's like, this is a bad guy. This is a bad guy, not just with women, with every single, the only good opinions he has is about pizza and every other opinion points in the direction of bad. And and so I did watch his 10-minute video. I watched the part 1, part 2 was shorter. And so he obviously denies all of it and says that there's no way that he'll ever be able to clear his name. And I was less interested in what he was saying because whatever. And I was more interested in all the people that were retweeting his video. And it's a lot of, well, why didn't they go to the police? And like when someone says that, it's like, well, then I just know you don't understand how this works at all. And so it's like, well, that you're disqualifying in this conversation if that's what you think is how this works. And, you know, we've all been 19-year-old women. And I think something that Dave is just refusing to acknowledge is the power dynamic that's set up in an age discrepancy like that. Add onto it wealth and fame and power, and how bringing young girls to your house, and he refers to them as girls, is not going to end well on any level. I have felt bullied into having sex with a 43-year-old man when I was 23. Was it consensual? Yeah. Was I bullied into it? Yeah. And did he know that? No, because he's never been a 23-year-old girl. What am I gonna, and am I gonna go to the police with that? No, I'm not even gonna say who this man is, where it was, but it's like, you're putting yourself in really bad situations, Dave, and then you're going, everybody's trying to cancel me, everybody hates me. Well, maybe you need to look at your behavior and the way you react and treat the world and wonder why so many people want to cancel you, because at the end of the day, you're the common denominator in all of this bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, I think there's a reason that all of these girls are just of legal age. There is a reason, there is a pattern, because it's not illegal, so they're getting away with that, but it's a dominance thing. They can feel powerful, they can feel smart, girls are enamored by them. He ain't getting that from somebody in their 30s. He ain't getting that from somebody in their late 20s. And the reason that men like to dominate and harm these women is usually they have little dicks. But I don't know that for a fact. But that's definitely consistent with the behavior.
He's also 5'2".
No, he is not 5'2".
Yes, he is. I saw him at an airport line one time, and I was just like, "Oh my god!"
How did you even see him? I mean, he can barely go on a roller coaster.
I looked down.
I met him in Houston. He is,
little tiny kid.
I don't know if he's 5'2", but he's not taller than me, and I'm 5'4". So here's the thing: like, I think that there is a reason, like men like to be strong and powerful. They don't like to be contradicted. They don't like to be told no, because he's a self-made person. He's worked really hard his whole life and created a brand that is very successful. He has never been good at hearing the word no. You don't become a good businessman by taking no for an answer. And so anytime a young woman who doesn't have the strength or the power or the voice to say, I don't like that, please stop doing that, I don't want to be here, you know, those are not women that you continue to hang around. Instead, you choose younger women who are legal enough that you won't get in trouble, you can't go to prison, and you can always cite that you're the victim. You're the victim of, like, everything's consensual. I didn't do anything wrong. And it's like, sure you didn't. Yeah. You know, you're not doing anything right.
Right. One of the girls, and in the video he addresses this, after they had sex, she slept on the couch. And it's like, that's not a normal interaction. That, to me, that says that is someone that did not feel comfortable sharing a bed with you after having sex with you. And so that's and he's like, that was just because we disagreed about life things.
Life things. I'm sure they talked a lot about.
And he was like, nothing.
She spent 2 nights there, 2 nights on this couch.
Because that's what she had, a plane ticket. He bought her plane ticket, right?
No, so I know, but I'm saying that he wouldn't make it right after the first one, and then she had to stay there a second night, and he didn't even like fly her home or try to rectify the situation. Just
he
get
also
a hotel room, anything.
Yeah, he also says in the video he really goes after the person who wrote the article and says that it was a hit piece and that she had this vendetta and a narrative to fill, and that's all created in his mind. He has not spoken to this reporter. He talks about how it was 8 months in the making. And to me, that says, well, that's a really well-researched, thoughtful piece then. That they did not want to rush out and they didn't want to mess anything up. And it's also to anonymous claims because the women genuinely fear for their safety and for their life because of his fans. And it's like, if you have fans that would go and harass and threaten and harm people, you're bad. Like you got to call off the wolves at some point, and he has no intention of ever doing that. And it's, I think we've all just been in these positions to go, something bad happened here.
Yeah. And I don't see this. Sorry, go ahead, Rachel. You go ahead.
I was just going to say the things that stood out to me was the length of the video. I've never seen him. Well, not that I've watched many of his videos or his press conferences, whatever, but like, he denies for like 12 minutes and then does a part 2. Like that is an admission to guilt to me. Like he just keeps on going. And then another crazy thing that he said was, I only watched like the first like few minutes of it, but he says like, if I heard all of these claims and it was about somebody that I didn't know, I would think that person probably deserves to go to prison. And it's like, I'm sorry, you support Donald Trump, who has been pretty fucking shitty as well. So I don't think that you're being completely honest with that.
I've heard multiple people, Erica Jane keeps saying this too. My lawyers told me not to do this. Well, why don't you listen to your fucking lawyers then? Because like, why do you have them? Because you sound like a dumbass right now.
What do you guys think about Erica Nardini, whatever her last name is, the CEO of Barstool?
Ooh boy. I think it's like a Shiv Roy situation. It's like, let's put a woman in, I know that's a fictional show, but like, let's put a woman in, and not that she's not unaccomplished, deserving, but I think it makes it be like, that's how simple they are to be like, oh, if we have a boss that's a woman, nobody will ask.
Yeah, no, they think it's maybe. Like, listen, this culture of Barstool, like obviously like this is a culture in the country that has grown. You know, we had a president that loved riling up men who felt belittled or surpassed by women and minorities, and they feel like they don't have a voice, and this is a guy that's giving them a voice, you know, and like Portnoy is a perfect example of that. But I think that this culture is not going away. Like men have to grow out of it. And when the men who are fans of Barstool have daughters of their own, this is when it will stop. Like this is when, you know, and honestly, I feel like a lot of the other men that I know and respect that work at that company, if they had any respect for women, they would walk. But they, you know, I think everyone's afraid of him. And we're going to get so much shit just for talking about him. But I don't give a shit. Like, what are you going to take away from me? Everybody always says tons of dumb shit to me all the time. Like, oh, boycott. I'm like, well, yeah, you're not allowed here anyway. Like, I don't know why. Like, what are you going to do?
I don't need to boycott Barstool.
I'm already boycotting it.
I work for myself. What are you going to do? Yeah, you can't. Yeah. And like, I love when people are like, they're trying to cancel me. It's like, no. There's no one that's been like, they love to say the word cancel because it's like this trigger word. It's like the word synthetic in the vaccine. Like people latch onto a word and they go, you can't cancel or woke or whatever. And it's like, just be a human being and like listen to other people. And like, if you're doing something that's obviously like this really ridiculous, but there's nothing wrong with having rough sex, but just like if you have to belittle women to feel good about yourself, you know, there's a lot more issue. I just feel more sorry for him than anything, because I'm like, if this is what you need to get off, money's not enough. Like, it doesn't matter how much money you have.
He asked one girl in the article. In the article, one of the claims was that he asked one girl what grade she was in.
No.
Yeah, don't you remember reading that?
He definitely in his video knew which girls, quote unquote, we were talking about. So if that's not somewhat of an admission of guilt,
I'm actually impressed that he remembers them.
Well, he said he had to do some digging.
He had to work at it. I think that out of all the claims that there have been against Dave Portnoy, which I I think that there have been a few. I think that this one's the most serious, and it looked like he was taking it. Well, I mean, it didn't look like he was taking it seriously as he brushed it all off and didn't try to apologize or anything, but he looked the most worried, I think, than he's been.
The only place to hit these people is in their pocketbooks, and it has to be the stock going down. You know, it has to be, you know, less people subscribing or listening. Like, that's the only way to really get back at these people. And, you know, there's always going to be room out there. Like, there's always going to be guys out there that want to listen to it. And I know, like, a lot of it is entertaining. I used to like it a lot when it first came out, and then it just became really, like, throwy. And like, you're just like, oh, this isn't fun. Like, I liked that you guys were like the bad boys of sports, like actually going against ESPN or the NFL or Goodell or whatever. And now it just feels like,
would you fuck this tree stump?
It just feels like this like hacky joke. It's like, oh, you haven't grown either. Like, your fan base is all still the same, and you all still think the same joke is funny, and it's been 15 years.
And this, like, he's pissed off a mother this time, and it's like, hell hath no fury, honey.
No fury.
Of a 19-year-old girl, you fucked up, and the mom's probably age appropriate. You should have probably hollered at her. Okay, should we go on to some better news? What a light week, you know?
It's been a doozy. I'm exhausted.
We did think it would be nice to wrap up this heavy week by forgiving some people that we have been mad at over the course of their run. And it doesn't matter if we're forgiving them forever. I'm going to be forgiving for just 1 second, so I'll go first. I was mad at everybody, and then I said, you know what? I will forgive the Houston Astros for 1 second because they lost. And so it is pretty funny to be like, oh, dang, y'all only won the 1 year y'all cheated. And so I used to love my little Altuve, who's the same height as Portnoy, I guess. So Houston Astros, you are forgiven for, boop. Okay, and now I'm mad at you again.
I love that. Okay, I'll go next. I am going to forgive the Packers organization, because I feel like I was pissed this summer, the way that they treated Aaron Rodgers and the way that they drafted Jordan Love and all of these things that were coming out against them. And I was totally rah-rah Aaron Rodgers. You stand up for yourself. You do what you got to do. And then it's just started to come out that maybe Aaron Rodgers isn't exactly who we thought he was. And we have no idea what the Packers organization has been dealing with over the last few years, maybe his whole tenure. So I am going to forgive them and wish them well on their journey, because this year is going to be spicy the rest of the way.
And their coach is kind of cute, and now I'm going to let myself admit that. You know, maybe there's some hunks in Green Bay.
I feel like LaFleur always looks like he just got in trouble, but he doesn't know what he did.
And I'm sure that's how he feels too.
He is a pretty hot coach. So I'm going to forgive the Falcons just for today, because I was at the Super Bowl that they lost 28-3, and it's been this huge burden on our back in Atlanta forever. I felt like we have had so much bad luck ever since that's happened. And now that the Braves won the World Series, I feel like all of that's been lifted. And so I'm forgiving the Falcons for a day. And then tomorrow I'll go back to just being like, what's wrong with you as an organization?
Yeah. I think that's beautiful.
But I'll still cheer for them on Sunday because, you know,
we're mentally ill.
Yeah, I like abuse, I guess. Not as much as Portnoy does, but I like it.
Oh boy. Well, on that note,
come after me, you dumb twat. Who is it? What do they call girls? Who knows? Something hacky.
I will say one last thought on that. I will say, when I was looking at the comments on Portnoy's video, I saw a lot more negative comments that I think we've seen before. Like, it felt a lot like, dude, you need to like chill out. Like, this is not good for you. And I hope that things are starting to turn. There was a lot of still shitty ones. There were some bad ones, but I'm saying maybe not as even as they used to be.
All right, gals.
Yeah. All right. This was fun. We'll do it again.
Yeah.
Right?
I think next week's going to be a good news week. I think we've all earned a little fun and a little light week, you know? And I hope the Braves had the best parade. Oh my gosh, I love seeing drunk men on double-decker buses. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, let's hope there's a lot of drunken Braves players and not just Ron Washington. So that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeehaw.
Okay, go Colts! Thursday night! Ah!
Oh, right. Yeah, we got to go watch that. All right.